Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel, back at another Card Fight Vanguard Ezel in the Vanity Weekly Reveal. So if you guys enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to the Patreon. And let's get this one started. Today we have like 5 cards at the most in total that aren't from Shaman King. And then everything else is from Shaman King. This is Shaman King galore right here. But good news is, we finally got their goddamn triple rares. I swear, normally we get like the triple rares and then their support cards. But then like, Shaman King, they showed us all the support cards and the triple rares. Honestly, I kind of prefer the old way how they did it, where they just showed the triple rares and the support cards, because they were going to get more support cards anyway, so it allowed for like knowledge at least of the new cards. But let's go ahead and get started. First up, we have the support cards before we get to our main grade 3s. Necromancer Faust the 8th. Grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 10k base. Act rear once per turn, counterblast 1. Choose a card with Alyssa Faust. Its card name from your drop zone. Call it to rear in the same column as it. So remember, Alyssa Faust, I believe, has an on boost effect for cards that have called Faust the 8th. So really nice that he can call her back. Or she can call her back. Then auto rear, when this unit attacks, discard 2 cards on top of your deck and it gets +2. So now we have skeleton. Now the skeleton build, because this is supposed to go in skeletons, have now become pseudo grand blue. Interesting. I know why that's there, because honestly, you want to try to mill out your Alyssas and your Necromancies, I think it is, or one of your cards besides Alyssa wants to be in drop for this to go off. So I guess it's interesting. I could see it being ran at like a 3 of maybe. Next up, we have our giant skeleton. This big bad boy who is kind of outshadowed by Alyssa and whatever, or Liza and whatever this grade 3 is. I'm assuming it's the grade 3. Giant skeleton, 13k base, grade 3, 200 persona. Right, continuous. This unit cannot be called to normal rear guard. Cannot be normal called to rear guard, so the same thing as V Skull Dragon. It continues to rear. This unit gets +5 for each Necromancy in your drop, and auto at rear guard at the end of the turn, retire it. So half of this thing's skill is just stolen straight from Skull Dragon, and the other was just stolen from Zorga, I guess. Very interesting. I still like this though, because he gets 5k for each Necromancy in your drop zone. Skull Dragon got in your order zone, sorry. Skull Dragon got +2 for every card in your drop zone. It said Necromancy can only be ran at 4 if I'm correct, which means this can only get a max of 20. Skull Dragon could hit 20 by just having 10 cards in drop, which you could do very easily, especially if you're a Mandala and you would hit 20 cards on first grade 3 turn. Why you would try that, I don't know, but he did it, and he didn't win, but he almost did. Quite literally, if it wasn't for the opponent damage checking a draw trigger and drawing a PG off it, it would have been quite literally game over there somehow. So Giant Skeleton, despite being a knockoff of Skull Dragon, is still decently good. It's nice to see him. Unfortunately, it's not in the main series deck, which means I'm probably not going to run it, but I give it a 3 of, or 4 of maybe. Next up, we have Mythical Spirit Horohoro. I'm not going to be able to say that fast. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 boost. Act drops on if you have Vanguard Horohoro in this card name. If this unit is not oversold this turn, if that unit has not oversold this turn, bind this card, choose a trigger unit with Kororo in this card name from your drop zone, call it to rear. So able to call rear guards and just kind of, I guess, replace it. Good news is Horohoro just requires a Horo for his ability to go off, so if they made a Horo trigger, then yeah, that's a free Oversoul. Because what Oversoul does is you just pay the cost, and most of the time it's just put a specified unit to soul, then you get an ability, and then you become the Oversoul state for the turn, which is how it works. So I can see this being ran 3 copies. I know they've released triggers, but I never checked their names, so I'm not so sure if there is a Horohoro among them, but if there is, this can be really good. Actually, no, never mind, it's Kodo, so never mind. Unless Horohoro requires, I think Horohoro requires Horohoro to go off. I don't know, all these names are confusing me. Next up, we have Dream of Walking with her brother, Pirisa. I will never be able to say these names. 8k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Act center, back, or rear. If you have a Vanguard with Horohoro in his card name, counterblast 1, rest of this unit. Choose a Horohoro auto card from your drop zone and return it. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying that because I don't know why. When I say that, I feel like it sounds offensive. I'm gonna keep doing it anyways because I know myself, but I don't know why I find it weird saying it that way. I find it comfortable saying it that way, but also at the same time, I don't know why I think of it as being offensive. I'm not so sure. But towards other people when I say it that way, I'm not so sure. Either way, this is an interesting card. Definitely gets you a drop zone card back to your hand, so I like it. Let's say 3 of 4 of. God damn it, of course it's the first card. The first move, Horohoro. Grade 2, intercept, 5k base, 5k shield, 10k base. Auto van at the end of the battle that was boosted by a Horohoro in its card name. Put a card from your hand into soul. Search your deck for up to 1 Horohoro order and put into your hand and shuffle your deck. I just did it. Okay, anyways, really nice. It can definitely get you an extra soul. It only has to be boosted by this thing or anything else that has its name, and you can just get a free order out of deck and then continues to be during your turn. It gets +2. Well, at least it's not just an on-attack ability. That's all I gotta say about it. But like, really, you had it. You had the chance to prove me wrong, and then you do this. Next up, we have Horohoro is my friend. Horohoro. AK base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto when it's placed on ban by riding on top of Horohoro, probably the starter. Search up to one mythical spirit, Koro, call it to center back row and shuffle your deck. So basically you get this. Really nice. Definitely really nice. And all around interesting card. Unfortunately, it's only Vanguard restrictive, but you know, all of them do have focus on Horohoro, so you can at least, god damn it, you can at least run them in the deck at like 2 of 3 of maybe. Next up we have Ka Priwempe. That is not how you say that, but it's called Renegade Hail. Grade 3, normal order / Horohoro. So that's what they mean. You can just search this out. Play it if you have a unit with Horohoro in its card name. Choose one of your opponent's back row units, and your opponent moves that unit to an open front or rear guard circle if they cannot retire that unit. So you pick a back row rear guard, and it either goes to the front or it dies. Why the hell did Narukami not have this? Like, my main complaint with Narukami and V is that they only bind from front row and only select cards to do it from back row, and very few cards can move stuff up, to where if you don't run them, or like you can't afford them for whatever reason, you can't like bind as much as physically possible. Why the hell don't Narukami have this? Dungri better fix that problem. I'm telling you right now, if Dungri doesn't fix that problem, we're gonna have a problem here. But anyways, that's really good, and then you may choose a Horo order from your drop zone other than this card. Return it to your hand if you did not bind it. I'm sorry, if you did, you bind this. So basically, kill back row, and then bind this, get another order back. So all around, really nice, and I like it. 2 of, 3 of, maybe even 4 of. Next up we have Mososo Krupe. Frost that rouses the sleeping. Grade 3, normal order / Horo. You may play this by Soul Blasting 1 if you have a unit with Horohoro in its card name. Draw a card, choose one of your opponent's front or rear guard circles, so one of your opponent's front or rear guards, and it cannot stand during their next stand phase. Why do they keep giving this to, like, decks? They give them such... Is that why they're doing the crossovers? Because, I mean, title boosters, whatever they're called. Because, from what I've seen, all their title boosters / crossover decks, all of them have been focusing on like very old gimmicks from old style Vanguard. When I'm saying old style Vanguard, I don't mean V, I don't even mean G. I mean like, okay, well maybe somewhere in G, but like back towards the original, like maybe Limit Break era is when we start seeing these things. Cause I swear, I think it was either Token Rambu or Monster Striker that had one of the things that reminded me from Limit Break, and so many other decks seemed like that to me. Like I know one of them's a straight up Zeal card, but still. And then this one feels just straight up Mega Colony-ish. Like, a lot of their cards, they feel like Mega Colony-ish cards. I don't know why. Like, is that why they're making this? Or is it just, like, their way to bring back the old stuff for people not to realize it? And then restrict it to Japan releases? Because I think Token Rambu's coming to English, but I don't think we have a confirmation on Monster Striker and Shaman King. So, is this just their way to, like, bring back the olden decks for Japan? Because I wish they would do that for us. I mean, hell, I'm not going to play these decks just because they're crossover decks. Like, I'm not saying there's anything against them. It's just that I don't like playing crossover decks, but... yeah, that's my opinion on this. That's just a theory, but at the same time, I feel like it's a valid point that happens to be proven if we look close enough to the cards. Next up, we have Dreaming of Being the World's Best Comedian, Coco Love McDowell. Part of me just doesn't want to read this because I find his name stupid, but 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. Auto when it's placed on rear until end of turn, your opponent cannot intercept. So automatically, you just have to fuck your intercepts. Like, there's not even a continuous, like... yeah, the continuous cards were really good back in Mega Colony, but, I'm sorry for going back to Mega Colony thing, but they were always easy to get over if you could just kill them. This is an immediate on place, and then it just prevents intercepts for the turn. And then Soul Blast 2, search your deck for up to 1 Mike the Jaguar, call it to rear in the same column as and shuffle your deck. So, those two have no corollary between each other whatsoever. Like, yeah, stopping the intercept is fine, but then this is another thing with the Shaman King cards just in general. It feels like they're just slapping 2 random skills together and they don't give 2 craps. Because like when I think of a card that calls something, especially to its back row rear guard in the same column, I don't imagine that it's also going to have the ability of stopping all intercepts. Unless it's a Mega Colony card, then yeah, I would somewhat expect that, but still not in the same skill. Probably from like one of the cards where it's on place nullify the intercepts, and the other one's the thing that calls it from deck. I don't know why. That's what it feels like to me when I read these cards. Like, they just took two different skills and they shoved them together. Just they didn't have to put out the time in writing two separate skills for just two separate cards. Like, that's my opinion on this. I know it feels kind of weird, but, like, I feel like that's a thing that we need to look into. I don't know why. It bothers me that I know this, if it is actually a case. Next up, we have Mick the Jaguar, AK base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost, auto when it boosts, this unit gets +2. If a booster unit named Coco Love McDowell in his card name, it gets +5 instead of the boost, and your opponent reveals 3 cards from hand. Another example of this, the 2 to 5, that's a normal thing. That happened a lot back in old Vanguard. But then they just randomly shoved the reveal 3 hand cards onto it. Why? Like, there's no culinary thing between these. Like, I've read the grade 3s, all of them except for one at least once, and I'm pretty sure none of them have anything to do with this. So, especially because I'm pretty sure your opponent gets to pick. The one that can mess with the hand, I'm pretty sure is the one that where your opponent gets to pick what gets discarded. So, why? Like, why did they randomly shove this skill onto it? What was the point? I do genuinely question this. Like, the 5k would have been fine on its own. Like, the 2k and then it becomes a 5k, that was fine. There's no problem with that. But why reveal 3? What benefit does that give us? Unless they make us a Shaman King card that can just make your opponent discard and you get to pick, I do not see the purpose in that effect at all. Like, yeah, it allows you to see your opponent's hand and play around it, and, like, that's the thing. But why give this card that effect? Why not give it to another random card? Why did they put the same effect on this card? That's my problem with this. I don't care that it's a skill. I care about why it went to a card that has nothing to do with it. But I guess that's fine. 3 of, 4 of... I question a lot now. Okay, and now we have a lot of nameless cards. They're nameless because I don't care. I mean, they're nameless because I couldn't find their names. But point is, like, they're basically the main grade 3s, and then this one's the overtrigger. And just like Shaman King, just like Token Rambu, their overtriggers are orders. So, first up, we have our grade 0 order and overtrigger. I don't remember its name, and I don't have its name. So, standard overtrigger reveals an overtrigger, you may remove it. Draw a card, choose one of your units that gets +1 million for the turn. If revealed during your draft check, you get an additional effect. Its additional effect is, choose one of your opponent's vanguards and deal 1 damage. Damage check first, even if the drive check remains. So, now Bushy has given us a kill card in a crossover deck that we are never going to get in English. And if they give us this in English, I will stand corrected. And I will eat my own words, quite literally. But why? Like, seriously though, why? Why? Just, well, actually, no, let me rephrase that. Wow. Like, I did not expect Bushy just to randomly give us this in an overtrigger. Like, I mean, yeah, I know it's a crossover deck, so, like, it's not going to get that much support, but just, wow, I'm surprised that they gave us this, but sure. Anyways, it also does, so that means they're taking the damage before you even deal with the attack damage, even if the draft check's finished with this. So that's the fun part about it. And then this other effect, its order effect, play it. If your Vanguard is oversold during this turn, kill all their rear guards. They stole this straight from not straight from Shaman King. They stole this straight from Monster Striker. Their overtrigger. I forgot which one it is, but if you reveal it during a drive check, just like their other overtrigger, you get one of 2 effects. You either get like 10. I think this was that one. I think it was the night one where all your units either get plus 10k for the turn, or you kill all the rear guards. So interesting that they just ripped that straight from it. If they give us a card like Token Rambu's where you can fetch the order from Bind Zone, from move from game, then this becomes slightly more deadly, but yeah, I can see this. I can see this being a purpose. Definitely want to run this over trigger. Next up we have auto grade 2 boost, intercept 5k shield 10k. I don't know why I keep trying to say their names. Auto back row rear guard center. When the attack of your Vanguard with Yo Ashurika in its card name does not hit, counterboss 1, rest it, choose one of your Vanguard stand and lose a drive for the turn. So, if they give us the ability to call from hand during battle phase, or call from drop, or call from deck during battle phase to back row center, then you can technically get 4 attacks in a turn. No, 5 Vanguard attacks in a turn. Granted, only 2 of them are going to have draft checks, but still. This is good. Like, this is honestly really good. Like, I don't have any complaints about it. Like, yeah, if they give us the ability to do what I just described, then it becomes a problem. But it also reduces the draft check by 1, so it's a less of a problem. To the point where the only thing they really need to worry about is this being drive checked. Now, I'm not going to say anything about this. I'm going to say it's an okay card, and we're going to run it at 4. And then when Bushy eventually puts us on the ban list, once they add the ability to call multiple of these to the back row center, and they restrict and they prevent it from losing a drive for whatever reason, and then it goes on the ban list, I'm just going to sit there and watch. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, because Bushy knows how to make a card game. They're not dumb enough to like screw it. I'm not calling Bushy dumb, by the way. I'm just saying, like, they're not going to screw this up. If they somehow make this broken, then I will be damned, but sure. Next up, we have another grade 3, which is a grade 3 twin drive Persona Ride 13k base. I believe this is for Tao Ren. Oversoul, act Vanguard. Once per turn, counterblast 1, put a rear guard with base in its card name to Soul. Retire all your opponents from rear guard circles. Okay, that's half the over trigger. And it gets plus 10k for the turn. If one of us was retired, they choose a hand card and discard one. This was the card that had the hand card thing, and it does nothing with the Horo deck. Anyways, so it's a 23k. If it just murders the rear guards regardless, it gets plus 10. And if you killed one or less from it, they got to discard a handguard. All around, really nice, I like that. And Auto Van, when this unit attack hits, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or greater with Tile Ren in its card name, reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So just search for your Persona Ride. Sure, I actually like this card, really nice. I definitely want to run it. Next up, we have a Horohoro card, grade 3, 200 Persona Ride 13k base, our new main grade 3 for it, that is. Continuous van, during your turn, you can play 2 orders, and if you play 2 orders this turn, it gets plus 1 drive. So it allows you to play multiple orders, and I like that. I always like the order. Okay, let me rephrase that. I never liked the order aspect in V, and there's only one deck I ever, besides Blasters, there's only one deck I ever actually ran an order in, and that was in Cyclone Premium, just because of that one Tempest Sphere that got banned lately, but it's fine. So I like how they're bringing back the order aspect and making you want to run orders, and I like that about it. In some of my decks, I've begun to not run them again because, Nirvana, not enough space. Yeah, I run one in Nirvana now, but that's mainly because I want to run it, not because I need to run it. In fact, if it's part of the reason why I have no space, and I'm probably tech it out for Persona Rides, but still. So I like that I like how they're bringing back the ability, or like they're making you want to use orders. And Oversoul, act Vanguard once per turn, put a rear guard with Horohoro and its card name to your soul. Choose a Horohoro order from your drop zone, put it to your hand, and this unit gets plus 5. So 18k, and get you an order. Okay, ability to get you an extra drive out of it, and if you combo it with this one, you can do pretty nice plays with it. All around, I like it. I find it interesting. I'll give it a chance. Next up, we have our, what was his name? Wooden Sword Ryu, grade 3. Grade 3 twin drive Persona Ride, 13k base. Auto, when this unit is placed on ban, search your deck for 1 in search of the happy place. Reveal it, put it to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So search out your main order. And Oversoul, act Vanguard once per turn. Counterblast 1, shove a rear guard with Tokagero and its card name to your soul, and then all your units get plus 5k ton of turn for each in search of happiness in your order zone and in your soul. Okay, sure. Like, he gets a lot of power really quickly. Like, if there's 2 on either order zone or in soul, you get plus 10. And it's to all units. So, honestly, I like this. I don't see a problem with this. I actually do think it's pretty cool. 4 of. Next up, we have our Eliza card, which is 13k base, grade 3 twin drive Persona Red. Oversoul, act Vanguard once per turn. Put a rear guard with Eliza and its card name to your soul. Countercharge 1. And choose up to 1 normally with Eliza and its card name from your drop zone called to rear. So you're just getting fodder for like the other one. Like, that's the thing. This is the one I feel like more consistent because it calls your Oversoul fodder. So yeah, but then also you get an immediate counter charge. Okay? And act Vanguard once per turn, counterblast 3, kill 3 Bone Soldier tokens. Choose up to 1 Giant of Calcium. That's not his name. Calcium from your hand or drop zone call to rear. Okay, I don't know what that is. I really don't. If they revealed that, then I really don't know what it is because I couldn't find it anywhere. But if that's a later card, then so be it. It better be good. I feel like that would have been served better as an auto ability, though, just to give more tax out of it. But I still like it regardless. I just feel like it would have done better as an auto ability. But it's a crossover deck. Like, I don't know why. It bothers me that I keep referring to them as crossover decks because it feels like I'm getting the wrong message across. But it's an okay card. If it wasn't for that, I would say it's a really good card. I'm still a good card, but I would say it's really good if it wasn't for that. Then this card, grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 10k base, act rear guard once per turn, soul blast 3, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, kill it, and it gets plus 1 crit. Okay, that's not that hard to pull off because you're constantly putting stuff to soul for your Oversoul to go off in the first place, so that's fine. But I don't know why. Something about this bothers me. Something about its skill just doesn't feel right, and I can't put my finger on it. until I figure out what it is, I'm gonna say it's like a 75%, like an 80% card. I give it an 80%, probably run it at 3 of, until I figure out why I hate this. But until then, 3 of. And when I figure out why I hate this, maybe a 1 of tech. Next up, we have 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept, auto when it's placed on rear, Soul Blast 3, draw a card, countercharge 1. What is with them getting consistent counters? Why do the decks that no one plays because they don't get main support, why do they get counterchargers? Why the hell don't we get counterchargers? Nirvana, okay, well, let me rephrase that. They don't need it, or well, they want it, because that's the only reason why I won Gojo. Quite literally, they give us another countercharger, I might not run Gojo. I'm not saying I hate Gojo, I'm just saying it bothers me running an Overlord card in a Nirvana-based deck. So why aren't we getting more counterchargers? That's my opinion on this. Also, Magnolia. Like, I don't know if Magnolia has one. They have Swelled Assault, and that's not Swell. Well, yeah, they have Swelled Assault. They also have Prized Trident. But, like, an actual Magnolia card that countercharges, please. That would be greatly appreciated. Either way, this is good. It just seems too easy. But 3 of, 4 of, I guess. Next up, we have 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept. I know I should know what this is, but like it was one of the first Shaman King cards revealed, or at least looks like it. Auto rear, when this unit attacks, it gets +2 until end of battle for each card in your damage zone. They stole that straight from an Angel Feather card. I know there's an Angel Feather card out there that has that skill. They stole that straight from it. But sure, and auto rear, when this unit is attacked, Soul Blast 1 until end of turn. This unit does not retire even if hit. So this is an Immortal Rearguard. I'm assuming its name might have something to do with what the first card that had Oversoul does. And maybe that's why this is here. And in that case, I would say they made a really good card. But at the same time, I question why. Like, why not give this to the grade 3 that's, like, it doesn't protect itself, but it protects the grade 2s/1s of the support line. I don't know why, it feels weird that the grade 2 has it, but still it seems interesting. 4 of. And now we're into our last 3 reveals. We have White Sorcerer, Beratorum, one of the only cards in this set that aren't, the only cards in this bunch that aren't Shaman King related. 10k base, 5k shield, grade 2 with intercept, another Sorcerer, which is always really appreciated, especially in my Witch/Sorcerer deck. Auto, when this unit is placed on guard circle, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 3. God damn it. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards with a stand unit on it. Your opponent looks at the top card of their deck and calls it to the chosen rear guard circle. The auto abilities that unit cannot activate. Okay, now there are ways I can hate this and there are ways I can love this. 1, you're forced to call it over a stand unit. While yeah, you're limiting the amount of attacks they have, this kind of prevents you from nullifying the... I guess that makes sense, like they prevent you from nullifying the attack that's currently happening. But why Soul Blast 3? My deck can't... Well, it can hit the number really easily of 13 soul. But then, like, yeah, you get reduction each time you call, but still feels kind of redundant, I guess. Not redundant. I know redundant's not the word, but, like, it feels like Soul Blast 3 is a bit too much. Like, Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1, I'd be fine with. And that's saying something, because I'm very sensitive about how Counterblast is used, but still. And then the calling on top of a stand unit, okay, I understand why, but there's also the chance you're giving them a better unit and you might as well just call it as rest. Because it doesn't shut down a lot of decks, especially because like a lot of decks can just call during battle phase or restand during battle phase or just trigger sack you to death unless you have a PG that doesn't really matter. So, barrel thing, 4, 3, Next up we have Dragon Knight Sharaf, and honestly, I thought this was Dungaree's support card. Not because of how it looks, but because of what its skill is. But they made this at perfect timing for Dungaree. Grade 2, intercept, 5k shield, 9k base. Auto, when it's placed on rear guard or put into guard circle. Soul Boss 1, bind a card from your hand. Your opponent binds a card from their hand, and both pairs draw a card. So a way to slightly deck out your opponent and yourself, but also increases the number of cards in both pairs' bind zones. You can abuse this with Dungaree, especially if it keeps the same skill as last time. So, interesting. And continues rear guard circle during your turn. If either player's cards are bound, this unit gets plus 5k power and 5k shield. Active on both players' turns. And I like this, because my problem with Narukami is that they can only bind from front row for a lot of cards, and only very few of them can bring them to back row. Or like bring them from back row to front row, or bind from back row. This doesn't do either and binds it straight from hand. Honestly, this is better, and I like this card so much. I give this a 4 of. Straight up. because it's a 15k, it's a 14k base and a 10k shield, literally the turn it's placed. So I will take this. And then we have our last card, which is Jaguar or Ezel, 7k base, 5k shield, grade 1 with boost. Auto rear, when they attack this unit boosted hits a vanguard, counterblast 1, kill an opponent's rear guard. No, just no. Just no. No, We have plenty of support cards. We have Idris, who does it better, because he can go to Soul, he can get plus 10. We don't need more rear guard killing. Like, we can genuinely just, like, nuke their field on our own. We don't need this. I like his art, I really do. And that's why I'm very disappointed in this, because I feel like his art could have been used on something better, but they gave it to this. I'm not saying the skill is bad, but I'm saying with where we are now with Eugene, we don't need this. If they gave this to us in set 1, or, like, before set 2 released Idris, then I would say, yeah, we would use this. But now, hard no. Just a hard no. And I'm so disappointed in that. But that's it for this week's reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to the Patreon, join the Discord, follow the Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.